Hello everyone, welcome back to English from PT Tutorials. So today we are going to discuss about the first item in writing, summarize written text. It is one of the very important question types, at the same time the simplest as well. Really easy to do it because of a shortcut that we have. So you're going to do in this question is, you'll be reading a paragraph given to you. It could be around 200 to 300 words long. So it could be one paragraph, it could be multiple paragraphs. You have to summarize the given paragraph in a single sentence. So this is the task that you're supposed to do. But before we go into the details of the task, let me show you how important it is. Let us look at its place in the scoring distribution chart. Again, guys, if you have not watched the other videos, because there is a lot of details which is interrelated in PT. So if you watch the other videos first, you will understand this better. So if you haven't, please make sure to watch them. So yeah, in the scoring distribution table, we are going to talk about the item called summarize written text. As you can see, it is over here, somewhere in the middle. So if you look at the number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So summarize written text would be the 8th important question in the whole exam. So these are all the 20 types of questions in PT, which is arranged in the order of total marks from highest to lowest. So summarized written text is 8th here. So that is actually the 8th important question in the exam. It is carrying a total marks of 20.7 out of 90. So summarized written text carries 20.7 marks out of 90. It has minimum 2 questions, maximum 3 questions, and an average of 2 questions. And this item is where you'll be reading a paragraph and you'll be summarizing it in one single sentence. So in this task, first you have to read the paragraph and then you have to type the answer, which is the reason why it is giving points to reading as well as writing, because first you read the paragraph and then you type the answer. So points will be contributed to reading and writing. So out of 20.7, 10.4 points will be given to 10.4 out of 90 will be given to writing. 10.3 out of 90 will be given to reading. Okay, so now let me go into the details of this task. So this is summarized written text. So summarized written text is where you will have, this is the first task in your writing module. This is how your screenshot is going to look like. Screen is going to look like in the exam. So you will have a paragraph given to you on the top. There will be a box at the bottom. You have to read the passage and summarize it using one single sentence. Okay, so the instruction would be read the passage below and summarize it using one sentence. Type your response in the box at the bottom of the screen. You have 10 minutes to finish this task. Your response will be judged on the quality of your writing and on how well your response presents the key points in the passage. So you have the passage on the top, you have a box at the bottom, you have 10 minutes for one question, 10 minutes, one passage. And as you can see, you have cut, copy, paste. These are tools which are given to edit your answer, but you need to remember, you cannot use these cut, copy, paste options to copy from the passage into your answer, but you can use it inside the box. So you can use it to edit your answer, but you cannot copy from the question into your answer. It won't be that easy. Okay, and also you can see the total word count will be given at the bottom left corner. The timer will be running on the top right corner. So you can always see how much time you have remaining. You can always see how many words that you're supposed to write here. Okay, now you will be getting minimum 2 questions, maximum 3 questions. And for each question, the computer would be giving you 10 minutes time. And you remember, there is no rollover time here, which means if you get 2 summaries and you finish the first one in 5 minutes time and you move on to the next one immediately, are you going to get 15 minutes in the next one? No, because the time will not get carried over to the next one, because each item is given specific 10 minutes time. So even if you finish the first one early, the extra time will not be carried over to the next one, which means there is no advantage of finishing early. There's no point in finishing early. You're not going to save any time. That time will be lost. It won't be added to the next question, which is the reason why they have given you 10 minutes time. So utilize all the 10 minutes given to you, because even if you finish typing early, you need to use the extra time that you have at the end to double check your answer. Because in this particular task, the computer is checking your grammar and spelling as well. So even if you have a little bit of time remaining at the end, utilize it to double check that you have written it incorrect grammar, incorrect spelling, incorrect spacing, capitalizing, full stop. Use the extra time that you have at the end to double check all of these. No point in finishing early. Utilize all the 10 minutes given to you. Okay. Now, this is the point system. So each of your summary will be evaluated out of 7 points. Again, remember the 7 points is it's not your points out of 90. Out of 90, it has a total of 20 marks, out of which 10 is given to writing and 10 is given to reading. This is just the scoring system. That is the criteria for your scoring. So your summary is evaluated based on 7 points per question, which is broken down for content, form, vocabulary, grammar, and spelling. Content will be given 2 points, form will be given 1 point, vocabulary will be given 2 points, grammar and spelling will be given 2 points. So we need to go through each of these factors one by one. First factor, content. So content everywhere is the same in PTE. The computer does not understand the meaning of what you say or what you type unless you use the words from the question in your answer, because the computer will be cross-checking your answer with the question. It is looking for matching keywords. So as long as it sees matching words from the question in your answer, it will be giving you 2 points. That means even if the meaning of what you wrote is wrong, or even if it don't make any sense, that means you're reading the passage, you understood it, and you're writing a very meaningful sentence, but you use different keywords. That means instead of using the same words from the from the passage, if you use synonyms, you use other words with the same meaning. When the computer cross-checks your answer with the passage, it does not see any matching words. It'll assume that you have written something different and it'll be giving you 0 for your content. And if your content is given 0, there won't be any further evaluation. You will get 0 out of 7 straight away, which is the reason why when you read the passage, whether you understood it or not, doesn't matter. Make sure you use minimum 4 to 5 keywords from the passage itself. Use the same words from the passage itself to get the 2 points for your content part. Okay. And how do you identify keywords? Like I've mentioned in many other videos, keywords are nouns. Keywords are words which contain information in them, which contains the main idea, names of people, names of places, names of things, or important verbs. Not is, was, the prepositions and pronouns are not keywords. Words which contain information, words which represent something would be your content part. So make sure to include minimum 4 to 5 matching keywords in the passage in your answer. If it makes sense or not, doesn't matter to the computer, because computer doesn't understand the meaning of what you write. So make sure to include minimum 5 keywords to get the 2 points for your content part. Now, the second factor is form. Form means the structure of your answer. And this is also the most important rule in this particular task. You're reading a passage which is around 200 to 300 words, and you're supposed to write the summary of the passage in a single sentence. Very important, guys, and I'll repeat it maybe 10 times today, but listen to me. Final answer needs to be one complete sentence only. You're allowed to write only one sentence, which means you're allowed to use only one full stop, one period at the end of your answer. Do not put any full stop before the end. If you put any full stop in the middle of your answer will not be evaluated. You will be getting no points. Consider that you got no points. So make sure you have only one full stop at the end. That means you're writing only one sentence, which also should be within 5 to 75 words. You're not supposed to write anything less than 5 words. You're not supposed to write anything more than 75 words. And again, you don't have to count the number of words that you typed. The computer will be showing it to you on the screen on the bottom left corner. The computer will show you, so you don't have to count it, but you need to make sure that it is minimum 5, maximum 75. And we already know that we are supposed to write only one complete sentence. So when you write a single sentence, if you write it too long, like you're writing around 65 or 70 words, it is not wrong because it is less than 75. But if you write around 60, 70 words in a single sentence, the sentence structure becomes too complicated and you might end up with grammar mistake. At the same time, if you write too short, you're writing only like 10 words or 15 words, you will have only very few matching keywords from the question. So your content is being compromised. So you should not write too short. At the same time, you should not write too long. Give an average length around 40-50 words should be good enough, because too long you might end up with grammar mistake, too short you won't have enough content keywords. So somewhere in the middle, 40 or 50 words would be sufficient. But then again, 60, 65, 70 is not wrong, 10, 15 is not wrong. It is better to write a medium number of words around 40 or 45. Okay, and vocabulary. Oh, remember, as I said, you're allowed to write only one full stop at the end. So even short forms are not allowed in your answer. That means if you write example using E.G, that dot also will be considered as a full stop. Then you will get 0 for your answer, which is the reason why for vocabulary, you should not be using any short forms in your answer. Do not write ETZ, E.G, IE. Do not use any of the short forms. Write example in EXAMPLE. Write it in full form itself. Do not use the short form of E.G. Use full forms. Use only academic vocabulary. Academic vocabulary means words that you usually see in textbooks, usually see in academic journals, usually see in articles. So first of all, we're using the same keywords from the question. So if you're making up your own sentence using the keywords, the words that you put from your own side, you should be only academic words, only formal words, no short forms, and no slang words. You should not be writing wanna, gonna, well, pretty good, quiet. Like, do not use the words that you use while speaking or while texting. Use only full forms of words, formal words, and academic words, that is vocabulary. Now, grammar and spelling. This is the part where I see many students lose the points, not because they do not know grammar or spelling, always because of careless mistakes. They don't utilize all the 10 minutes, they finish quickly and move on to the next question immediately without proofreading. This is what can lead you to end up with losing 2 points in your grammar and spelling. So grammar means if you should start your sentence with a capital letter, end with a full stop, the sentence structure should be grammatically correct. That means if you are using was instead of there, is instead of are, all these kind of mistakes will be deducting your grammar points. You make one grammar mistake, you lose 1 point. More than one grammar mistake, all the 2 points for spelling and grammar will be deducted. So avoid grammar mistakes at all cost, which is the reason why it is better not to write a really long sentence. Keep it simple, but not too short either, around 40-45 words. Include the keywords, but make simple sentences. Compound sentences would be a best way to go here. I'll show you an example of doing this using a shortcut, so that that'll make it more clearer for you. And spelling also the same. If you make one spelling mistake, you lose 1 point. If you make more than one spelling mistake, you lose 2 points. So spelling also, you need to be very careful, which is the reason why they're giving you a total of 10 minutes for one summary. So what do you do? Out of the 10 minutes, utilize the first 2 to 3 minutes. 2 minutes would be sufficient. In the 2 minutes, read the entire passage completely. Many people make a mistake of reading only parts of it, and they don't get the whole gist of the passage, and they don't understand what is the main point, which is the reason why in the first 2 minutes, read the passage entirely and find out the important words from it, important parts in the passage. And then you can take around 6 to 7 minutes to type your answer, so that you have at least 1 to 2 minutes at the end to double check your spelling and grammar. And also, guys, if you are not comfortable with typing, make sure you practice and improve your typing speed, because you're supposed to write around 40 to 50 words within total 10 minutes time. So you need to type and improve your typing speed. Only then you can have the extra time at the end to double check your spelling and grammar. Okay, and the most important rule, I'm repeating again, final answer needs to be one complete sentence only. That means you're allowed to have only one full stop at the end. Do not put any dots in the middle of your answer. Even short forms, like I said, if you wrote etc dot or e.g, that dot also will be considered as a full stop. So do not use any full stops in your answer unless at the end of the sentence. And always start your sentence with a capital letter. And even if you have proper nouns in the middle of your answer, like name of a person, always start with a capital letter as well. These kind of mistakes will deduct your grammar points. So be very careful about these. Okay. Now, there is a shortcut method here. So what you're supposed to do here is, this is a sample passage which you could get in the exam. It could be 3 or 4 paragraphs, or it could be 1 paragraph. You're supposed to read it, and give a one line, one sentence summary of the entire passage. Now, there is an easy way to do this. What you have to do is read the entire passage and find out any two good sentences from the passage. When I say good sentences, they mean independent, standalone statements. That means if you take the sentence out of the passage and read it separately, it'll give you complete idea. It'll give you the complete meaning. It should not depend on a previous sentence. So sentences starting with pronouns will not be standalone statements. For example, if you read this paragraph, first paragraph here, since Australians Jennifer Hawkins and Lauren Eagle were crowned Miss Universe and Miss Teen International respectively, there has been a dramatic increase in interesting beauty pageants in this country. This sentence makes complete sense. Okay, but if you read the next sentence, these wins have also sparked a debate. That is not complete. That is not independent because they're saying these wins. If you say these wins in your answer, we'll have a question. Which wins are you talking about? It is referring to the previous sentence. So what you have to do, read the entire passage and pick any two independent statements. That means if you take it separately and read it alone, it should make complete sense to you. And there's an easy way to pick out independent statements. If you have multiple paragraphs given on the screen, almost 90% of the time, the first line of every paragraph will be independent. That means the first sentence in the first paragraph, since Australians until in this country, and the first sentence of the second paragraph, in the past few decades, Australia has taken more than a few faltering steps toward treating women with dignity and respect. Also an independent statement. The first sentence of the third paragraph, in the 1960s and 70s, one of the first acts of feminist movement was to picket beauty pageants on the premise that the industry promoted the way that it was acceptable to judge women on their appearance. This is also an independent statement. First sentence of the last paragraph. Almost all of the pageant vectors are wafer thin, reinforcing the message that thin equals beautiful, also kind of independent. Okay, but do not straight away go and pick the first line. Take the 2 minutes to read the entire passage and find out the best two sentences which are independent at the same time should contain a lot of keywords in them. Okay, so pick sentence which has more information, more keywords in them, and also both the sentences that you pick should not be adjacent to each other, should not be close together. That means if you pick one sentence, do not pick the immediate next one. Take another sentence, preferably at least 3-4 sentences later, or at least in the next paragraph. Do not take sentences which are already close together. Take two sentences which are far apart in the passage given to you. Okay, if possible, if you have different paragraphs, definitely take two sentences from two different paragraphs. Most of the time, the first paragraph will have an important detail and the last paragraph will summarize or conclude all the details that you need. Okay, so the criteria to select your sentences, both the sentences should be independent, standalone statements. Both of them should not be close to each other. Do not take sentences with exclamation marks, question marks, brackets. Avoid symbols in your answer. Okay, and it is also better to avoid too many examples and details because you are asked to write a summary of the passage given to you. Summary contains only the main idea, not every single detail, every single example from the passage. So it is better to take sentences which contain the main idea, not examples or details. Avoid symbols such as brackets, question marks, exclamation marks. And one question that I get here, are you allowed to use commas here? Of course, you can use commas as many as you want. If you're copying the sentences from the passage, use the comma exactly as it is in the passage itself. Okay. Now, once you found the two sentences that you like, you can copy those two sentences exactly as it is into your answer. Do you have the option to copy paste it from the passage in your answer using the edit tools? You don't have the option to copy paste. You can look at the sentence and type it yourself. You have to type it yourself. You cannot copy paste. You can look at it, type the exact same thing. Okay. Now you copy these two sentences and make a single sentence using both of them. So how can you make it a single sentence? You make those connect those sentences using a connective and make it a compound sentence. So copy the sentence number 1 that you picked, put a comma after that, use any connective such as and, for, but, which, when, moreover, furthermore, any connective, because you're not allowed to put a full stop in the middle of your answer. So after you finish the first sentence, use a comma, use any connective, and, for, which, but, whatever you want, and write the next sentence. If you're finding it too difficult to choose a connective, use and will work almost all the time, or moreover, or furthermore. If it is two contradictory statements, you can use however. Okay, So what I'll do is I'll give you 2 minutes to read this entire passage and pick out the 2 sentences that you like. I already have my selection here and I'll make a sentence using those 2. Okay, so I'll give you just 1 minute to read it. Or you can pause the video and read it, so I can save my time. Okay, so you can pause the video and read it. So I'm gonna pick my sentences here. So the 2 sentences that I like are the first sentence of the second paragraph. In the past few decades, Australia has taken more than a few faltering steps toward treating women with dignity and respect. I like that sentence because it has a lot of keywords. Australia, women, dignity, respect has a lot of keywords in them, and it almost covers the gist of the entire passage as well. And it is a not too long, not too short sentence. It's an average length of sentence. And the second sentence that I would pick is the second line of the third paragraph. Today, many young Australian women are still profoundly uncomfortable with their body image, feeling under all kinds of pressures because they are judged by how they look. This kind of summarizes the whole passage. So I'm picking these 2, but you can pick whichever you want. Only criteria is make sure both of the sentences are independent standalone statements which contain keywords in them. Okay. Now I'll just copy paste in the next page to save my time, but you don't have the option to copy paste. You have to look at it and type your answer. Okay. Now what are we going to do? Using these 2 sentences, we have to make a single sentence by putting a comma and connective in the middle of the sentences. So I'll just do it for you now. So I'm just copying this sentence as it is. And the next sentence, which I like, is today. Okay. Now I have copied the sentence exactly as it is here. But the major mistake that I have in my answer is this full stop in the middle, because I'm allowed to have only one full stop at the end because I'm asked to write a single sentence only. Single sentence means I can have only one full stop at the end. So this full stop in the middle could give me 0. I won't get any points for my answer if I put this full stop here. So what I'll do, I'll replace this full stop with a comma, and I have to connect these 2 sentences to make it a compound sentence. So I should be using, and sorry, not caps lock. Yeah. So let me read the sentence. In the past few decades, Australia has taken more than a few faltering steps toward treating women with dignity and respect. And today, many young Australian women are still profoundly uncomfortable with their body image, feeling under all kinds of pressures because they are judged by how they look. Okay. If you look at this answer, there is one more mistake, which is a grammatical mistake. I'm using a capital letter in the middle of my answer for a common noun. This is not a proper noun. Today is not a proper noun. So if I use a capital letter here, I will lose another point for my grammar, which is the reason why I have to remove it and use a small letter here. Okay. So this is your final answer. This is all you have to do. Read the passage, pick any 2 good sentences, join them by using comma and. Sentence 1, comma and sentence 2. All right. Now, an optional step, one more step, which is optional. You can use it if you're targeting for a higher score like band 7 or 8. Use it only if you're 100% sure. Replace any of the 2 words in your answer with a synonym. But then again, the words that you're replacing should not be important keywords. Take supporting words and replace them, because keywords is going to give you the points for the content parts. If you replace keywords, you could lose points for content. So take unimportant supporting words and replace them with synonyms or other words with the same meaning only if you're sure. So to make it look like it's your own sentence. Okay, what I can do here is, in the past few decades, Australia has taken more than a few faltering steps toward treating women with dignity and respect. So I will not change Australia, I will not change women, I will not change dignity and respect, because these are very important keywords. So what I can change, in the past few decades, decades is not an important keyword. So what I'll do, I'll replace it with in the past few years. It implies the same meaning. So now it looks like I made my own sentence. In the past few years, Australia has taken more than a few faltering steps toward treating women with dignity and respect. And today, many young Australian women are still profoundly. Profoundly is also a supporting word. It's not a keyword. So what I can do, instead of profoundly, I can replace it with significantly, same meaning. Do it only if you're sure. Otherwise, leave it as it is. so that you don't lose any points for grammar or spelling. So these are the steps to do this in the easiest possible way. It's a really highly scoring item, but at the same time, this technique will make it really easy for you. So you don't have to understand the passage. You don't have to make your own sentence structure. Read the entire passage, pick 2 sentences and join them to make a single sentence. If possible, if you're sure, replace any 2 words with a synonyms to make it look like it's your own sentence structure. Okay. So that's pretty much it in summarized written text. So again, just summarizing whatever I mentioned. This is the first task of writing. You are reading a paragraph. You're reading a paragraph and summarizing it using a single sentence in the box given. Edit tools are given to use it inside the box. You don't have the option to copy paste from the passage in your answer. So what you can do, they give you 10 minutes time. So in the 10 minutes, read the entire passage. First 2 minutes, read the entire passage. Copy 2 sentences from the passage into your answer. You have to look and type it yourself. You don't have the option to copy paste. Once you finish typing the 2 sentences, join them using comma and. Both you can have only one full stop at the end. Start your sentence with a capital letter, and the sentences that you pick from the passage should be independent, standalone statements, should contain main information, should contain keywords. Both the sentences should not be close to each other. Both the sentences should not contain symbols like brackets, exclamation marks, question marks, quotation marks. Avoid them in your answer. Okay, and make sure you join them using comma and connective. Sentence 1, comma, connective. Sentence 2, full stop at the end. Do not use any short forms in your answer. Write only within 5 to 75 words, preferable around 40, 50 words, and use only academic vocabulary in your answer. Do not use any short forms. And most importantly, use the last 2 minutes to double check your spelling and grammar. Okay. All right, guys, so that is summarized written text. This was the first task in writing. So those of you who haven't subscribed to our channel, please do subscribe because I'll be coming up with more videos in the coming days. And click on the bell icon as well so you'll be updated when there is a new video. All right, guys, and if you need any personal feedback or if you need one-to-one coaching or any kind of training, just reach us on 0432 269 874. Thank you. See you again soon. Bye.